welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at this film. So this is The Secret of Kells. I actually originally watched this with my husband a year or so ago. It is animation, though it is not meant for small children. Depending on your kid's level, late elementary, middle school, maybe middle school and up, there is why this is, it shows violence. I mean, it's not, this is hand-drawn animation in a very specific style. It's a very angular style of animation. It's 9/11 at night. So I am tired, and I just finished rewatching this, and I did watch most of it. I have bought this. It is extremely enjoyable. It is not meant for younger children. They will not understand this at all. The Secret of Kells tells a fictional story of a physical illuminated manuscript that is currently held at Trinity College in Dublin. It is a retelling of the four Gospels of the New Testament of the Bible, but the story itself tells of a young boy by the name of Brandon and his uncle. His uncle is an abbot. He is building an abbey, a walled-in abbey. This is the time of the Viking raids, so it's, I believe, around the 600s. So this is it's in the early Middle Ages. So in fact, it does take place around the time of the sacking of Iona, which was an island monastery. And in this story, Brandon's uncle is trying to protect him. He's trying to build these walls to keep the world out, and he forbids Brandon from going outside. And Brandon is very, very interested in the creation of books. Now remember, at this time, all books were handwritten. Usually it was religious texts, and it was done by monks and other religious members of religious orders. So that is what he is interested in. His uncle is obsessed with building this wall, and he doesn't like that Brandon is so interested in writing and religious texts, because his uncle does not think this is important. Then one day, Brother Aiden comes, and he is from Iona, and he has the Book of Iona, which Brandon had been told about, which was about this illuminated manuscript, which later becomes the Book of Kells. And he's working on it. Supposedly he had been starting to buy this saint a long time ago, and it's supposed to be beautiful, and it's not finished. So Brother Aiden comes with his white cat and is interested in Brandon, because Brandon shows interest in the writing and the book, and of course his uncle's infuriated by this. But he asks Brandon to bring him this specific berry that comes from the oak tree. And Brandon sneaks out with Aiden's white cat, and he goes into the forest, and he meets this spirit girl of the forest by the name of Ansling, and she shows him this, used to have these beautiful animations of her showing him the forest, and it's very much like a dream, because she's moving around. It's very obvious she's not human. She's not human. She shows him the berries, and once they get down, he finds something else, which is an old rune. And she's like, this is evil. We need to get the heck out of here. And so she sends him back. His uncle is infuriated with him. But he's able to get these barrier-like things, which make a very beautiful emerald green ink, which is the reason. And Aiden starts training him. But then he can't find what amounts to be, he calls it an eye, but it's a magnifying glass, in order to create intricate designs. And he must have lost it. Sorry. This is amazing film. It's not why I'm yawning. I'm yawning because I have a 5-year-old and it's 9 o'clock at night. But Brandon notices the symbol that this thing would have when Aiden is telling the tale of where this eye came from. And he remembers it from the forest. So he goes. He finds it. He fights off a snake. You have some very interesting dreamlike animation. Again, this has a very distinct animation style. It's obviously hand-drawn. It's absolutely beautiful. But Brandon gets this eye, but he gets back. His uncle is infuriated and locks him up. But Ansling comes to help him. And with the help of her turning Aiden's white cat, which also seems to be almost like a spirit cat, into more of a spirit cat, to get the key and release Brandon. And she disappears. He goes with the cat and shows that Aiden, that he has this eye. It's like there's more than one dark place and there's more than one eye. So he starts to work on these being trained to doing these intricate designs until his uncle finds out. And at this point, somebody had come and said, okay, the Vikings are coming. They're going to come destroy things. So he locks Aiden and Brandon in the area where they do the writing and tells everybody to hide and other people to get in the tower. And the Vikings come and they start destroying things, and his uncle realizes, I need to save my nephew because he loves him. He just wants to protect him. And he was an illuminator at one point as well. He knew Aiden when they were young. But he's injured and left for dead. Brandon and Aiden escape into the woods. Now, the Book of Iona, or the Book of Kells, has an intricate, like, golden, jeweled cover. And the Vikings eventually find them. They are rescued, but they take the cover. They leave the pages scattered. They gather the pages, and you kind of have this scenes almost from a book where you see Brandon growing up. And they build a shelter, and Brandon finishes the book that he now calls the Book of Kells. And you kind of see Aiden go off into the water, basically. It's like he's going to die because he's going to become very, very old, and Brandon's all grown up. And Brandon shares it, and it's like you have this voiceover. It's like the book is not meant to hide behind walls. It's meant to be shared. So you have Brandon and the cat, and eventually he runs into Ansling as she shows him back to the tower because his uncle survived. So his uncle is in fact alive, and his uncle is dying. His uncle's very, very old. Because remember, he was around the same age as Aiden. And Brandon comes, and his uncle is racked with grief, and it's like, I got it wrong. It's not the walls that's important. Basically, he feels guilt because in his mind, Brandon, Aiden, and the book were all destroyed a long time ago. So, but Brandon comes to him, and it's like, I'm alive. He's like, you're a dream. It's like, no, I'm not a dream. This is the Book of Kells. And his uncle opens it, and that's the end of the film. This is very well done. It's very, very beautiful. It is not meant for younger children, because you do see, though it is an animation, it can be very abstract at times, so they're not going to understand it at all. Or the understanding of what it is to have these illuminated manuscripts and what this means. Now, why, of course, I am not a religious person. I do have a bachelor's degree in history and the Middle Ages and what we also call the early modern period, which runs through the late Middle Ages into the Renaissance, is an area that I specifically pay attention to, particularly the Middle Ages. So these religious texts are part of our history. So it's an interesting tale of one of these texts that does exist. Again, the Book of Kells is an extremely important illuminated manuscript in Ireland. It did exist around this time, and the sacking of Iona did happen, and that kind of sets when this time period was. They don't know really where the book originally came from, but it is highly illustrated. An unhappy cat at the door. So, fantastic film. Definitely middle school to high school age, really, for this. If you're looking at the history of Ireland, if you're looking at illuminated manuscripts, if you're specifically looking at different animation styles, this is a great film to do. It is a family film if for parents with older children. Again, I probably won't show this to my daughter until she's older, because they're not going to understand it, and they're probably not going to enjoy it, because again, it has a very unique, very artistic, abstract style, and has abstract ideas going on here. When Brandon is meeting Ansling, when he is getting this eye, both of these are very much almost dream sequences, and they're very unique. And so the younger kids are not going to enjoy this, and they're not going to want to watch this kind of thing. So, and again, it also has violence and showing of violence. So the Vikings are not shown. They're shown in abstract. Again, there's a lot of abstracts going on in this. It is not straightforward at all. It is wonderful. The animation is beautiful. The music is fabulous. The voice acting is great. I don't believe there's many people who are very famous in this at all, because that's not the point. But it is a great film if you're looking at artistic styles, Irish history, some of the histories of the illuminated manuscripts, just because why this is a fictional tale. It's a fictional tale about a real book and how these writings were done. So it is absolutely wonderful. I really do love this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I am covering Celtic, in a sense, Celtic history. There's a lot of Celtic imagery in this, in the Secret of Kells. Again, it's absolutely beautiful. Trying to think. I'm covering Little Mermaid next. I did Lion King last month. And we're doing fairy tales, specifically Disney princesses. This just happens to be a Irish tale that I enjoyed and thought I would share. Again, it's definitely geared toward the older kids. So if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you have one. And join me on a trek through fairy tales. And hopefully you didn't pick up hissing cats. this year, and I am covering the original tales. If you want more, I have already covered Cinderella, though I'll be doing more of her later this year because there's a lot of Cinderella. And I've covered Beauty and the Beast as well. That includes the original tales. So it's just there's Brave does not have an original tale, so we have a bunch of other stuff here. I am going to be covering the original Little Mermaid. And The Lion King, again, didn't have any original tales, and no, it's not based on Hamlet. But you can check out my videos for that. And I have already covered The Princess and the Frog. So that was another previous year or so ago. So, like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you have one. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you.